America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered. This is America's Voice Live.
And welcome to America's Voice Live. I'm Steve Gruber.
The pulse of the people.
We need somebody that's going to hear the people's voice.
The truth the mainstream won't touch.
This guy is, by definition, a globalist.
And the stories that matter.
Rav's own Ben Berquam.
Right up over this hill, we got an armed cartel. I see him.
Live.
Breaking news right now here on Real America's Voice.
Unfiltered.
These people are domestic terrorists.
And unapologetic.
We're here to take a stand for God and country. Does feel good, doesn't it?
America's Voice Live starts now.
Welcome to America's Voice Live. I'm Steve Gruber. It is Friday, thankfully, the 30th of January, year of our Lord 2026. Let's get to today's top stories. And as always, thank you for joining us here on Real America's Voice. We appreciate you being here every day, another big week. In Fulton County, Georgia, it seems the election of 2020 was, in fact, a fraud. Of course, we have talked about that for years now, but with the FBI raid this week, it appears they now have the proof that has been in the shadows for many years as well. We'll share some of that proof with you here today. Also, President Trump recently made a proclamation that this week is National School Choice Week, where his administration introduced the new Education Freedom Tax Credit. Could be good news for your student, your kid, your grandkid. I'll bring on an expert who was at the White House to discuss, and then later, I'll bring on a meteorologist from Weather Nation to discuss another big winter storm set to blast the East Coast again. Hello, North Carolina. Hello, South Carolina. It's called winter. All that and more coming up for today's show. But first, I want to start with something that just warms my heart. Former CNN host, the disgraced Don Lemon, arrested Friday for his role in a viral protest involving anti-ICE activists at a Minnesota church last weekend. You've seen all the video, of course. Earlier this month, Lemon live-streamed demonstrators who stormed the city's church in St. Paul, Minnesota, accusing the pastor of cooperating with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. During the broadcast, Lemon defended the protest as protected speech under the First Amendment, but the Justice Department says that protest crossed the line because it interfered with the First Amendment right of people to worship as they see fit. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced on X that Lemon and 3 others have been arrested in connection with a coordinated attack on the church. While specific charges have not yet been released, DOJ officials have pointed to possible violations of the FACE Act and the so-called Ku Klux Klan Act. Lemon arrested in Los Angeles and is expected to appear in court sometime today. We're going to have him and look at it. Join me to discuss this. His constitutional lawyer, Senate candidate for the great state of North Carolina, Don Brown, is here with me. Don, nice to see you again. All right.
Thanks, Steve.
You're an attorney. Don Lemon. Did he cross the line? How good is this case? Is it a strong case, weak case, or somewhere in the middle that you don't know yet?
Well, no, it's a strong case under the FACE Act. This is ironic. This FACE Act was rammed down our throats by the Democrats in '94, signed into law by Bill Clinton. Tom Foley was the speaker, and designed primarily to protect abortion clinics. And after the Dobbs decision, the Biden attorney generals went crazy and went after pro-life fathers and mothers who just been singing and praying in abortion clinics. But this FACE Act was sold to us because Sub A was supposed to protect against the clinic entrances to abortion, but Sub B is supposed to protect against interference with freedom of worship. It is right there, 18 U.S.C. 248, subsection B. Anybody who obstructs, impedes, or otherwise interfere with Christians or other religious Americans in the act of worship is subject to a felony. And the act has been used only against pro-life Christians, but it's now high time that you use it in a way that is designed to be used to protect Christians as well. There is no First Amendment right on private property. There's a First Amendment right in the public square. So his First Amendment arguments are about as valid as his knowledge of the Constitution, just aren't there. But I'm glad to see it as a step in the right direction, Steve.
You know, there in North Carolina, I'm going to guess, Don, you've had the opportunity, the terrific celebration of Christianity in black churches. I have seen a number of black pastors on social media since this happened saying, go ahead and try that in our church and see what happens. You wouldn't get past the aunties in the first row, the one guy laughed. Yeah, they'd swat you with your purse and sit you right down and show you face to God right there in that church. Look, They pulled it at a certain place, and I saw Don Lemon on a podcast saying, basically, the problem with America is white Christians, not the black congregations, not the mosques, it's the white Christians. He went there for a reason, to target white Christians and try to shame them or attack them or humiliate them or whatever. I mean, his intent here to me is pretty clear. Your thoughts?
Well, what a racist statement to say. You're targeting somebody because of the color of their skin, and on top of that, targeting somebody because of their religious beliefs. That is about as bigoted and un-American as you get. But I guess if you're a liberal lefty like Don Lemon, you can be bigoted and un-American and think you get away with it. But, he's violating the civil constitutional rights of Christians to engage in worship. These folks have nothing to do with the ICE operations on the street. Yet a pastor might have been an officer or something like that, or a reserve officer. We don't know. But it's beside the point. You have Christians coming in wanting to worship Jesus Christ, and they come in and claim First Amendment. Well, I'm sorry. That's private property, and you can't say whatever you want in private property. You can't exercise the plethora of other constitutional rights on private property. He's got it all messed up. And if this FACE Act is going to be evenly applied, then you've got to use it when Christians are attacked in the middle of worship, which is exactly what we've seen. Shame on Don Lemon. He is a liberal racist. That's about as racist as you get, white Christians. Suppose some conservatives said, black Muslims or whatever, you'd be called racist and run out of town. Don Lemon is racist, like so many leftists are racist. They accuse us of what they really are themselves, and I think his true intentions have shown here. And I hope he gets convicted.
And the true irony, Don, the true irony here is this. The true irony is this. Don Lemon continues to say white men in America are the problem, yet Don Lemon is married to a white man. You sort that one out in your own time, because I don't understand it. I cannot connect those dots. Anyhow, let's shift gears. Because the Senate set to vote tonight on a funding bill backed by President Trump. That funding bill has been met with criticism from both sides of the aisle, but apparently they're going to separate DHS out, have that conversation separately, which is irrelevant, really. They're trying to defund ICE, the left is, but in the one big beautiful bill, ICE got $75 billion. They're funded through 2029. What they would end up defunding is FEMA and DHS and other departments. It's a misguided attempt from what I'm seeing. What is your perspective?
Well, the left, of course, they're trying to make it a political attack on ICE, just like you say. The reality of what they're doing might have different consequences. You defund FEMA, I will lose a lot of sleep over that, or other parts, it depends on what the defunding is going to be. But this whole, as is always is, the budget is becoming a political football for the left to try to push their policies. They want to take ICE out. And by the way, our senior senator here from North Carolina, Tom Tillis, called on Kristi Noem to be fired. And I went on a video yesterday and said she ought to get a raise because we've had 93% reduction of crossings at the border. The Darien Gap, that is the gap between Colombia and Panama, has virtually dried up. Sheriffs all across the state tell me that the meth use has gone down because of Kristi Noem and Donald Trump's leadership. So I think you're going to see, Chuck Schumer continue to posture. They'll probably get it worked out for political reasons, but you're going to see a lot of posturing before somebody buckles here, as we typically see, Steve.
Right. I can tell you this, though, Don, talking to some members of Congress, friends of mine, Republicans, they say their internal polling shows that this ICE issue in Minneapolis not polling well for them because it's being denigrated on all the national media outlets. It's being attacked constantly, and it's not polling well for them. We'll see how that holds up. But violent crime, you hit on something important here, Don. Violent crime in America went down in 2025 to record lows. Interesting, considering 3.5 million new guns were sold in America, and I thought that was the problem. That's what they keep preaching to me, but apparently that's not the problem. The fact of the matter is, when you take violent criminals off the streets, whether they're from America or from some foreign country, when you get those people off the streets, you reinstitute cash bail, you take people that are violent from out of this country and you toss them out of this country, crime goes down, homicide, rape, armed assaults, all of it has gone down to historic levels in the first year of Trump's return to office. That's pretty significant, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And you mentioned two significant factors. One, not only a reduction in border crossings, but an increase in deportations. We're going after violent gangs, et cetera. And that's number one. Number two, an increase in gun sales. We have an increase in gun sales. And what we see is what we've seen in Australia and other places where responsible gun ownership has increased. You see a drop in crime because the bad guys know that if the good guys have a gun, they're less likely to act. So I think that what we're seeing with these violent, criminal statistics, moving in our favor is a vindication of Trump's policies of this mass deportations of these, especially of these very violent illegals coming across from the Mexican border with drug gangs and with sex trafficking gangs, et cetera. And I think history is going to prove right. I think as far as the deportations go, what the left has done here is sensationalize this nurse who apparently the Pocahontas, was calling. I'm talking about Elizabeth Warren, some sort of peaceful fellow. Now video emerges of him kicking in an ICE vehicle, breaking it the day before. Very, very violent. They are agitators. And I think regardless of short-term polls, this is going to wash out the way it's supposed to wash out when the American public begins to see the true facts unfold.
Yeah, if they get that opportunity, depends on where they get their news and see videos. Now, I want to go to one more case made headlines today again. Luigi Mangione executed a CEO from a healthcare company in broad daylight on the streets of New York City, but apparently the death penalty has been ruled out. It's been taken off the table because they said there was no predicating violent crime. They don't consider stalking to be a violent crime in this country. Many countries do. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts of stalking is an act of premeditation. It's an act of planning. This basically is just liberal jurisprudence breaking in the favor of leftist jurists and the product of soft on crime Democrat policies. It is absolutely an act of premeditation. He hangs out, he waits, he tracks the guy down, he finds out where he is, he puts a bullet in him. That is 1,000% premeditated. It's another mistake by leftist judges, which is why we got to have conservative judges on the bench who will bring a little common sense to these types of factual scenarios that are basically getting in the way of the execution of justice here.
Yeah, let me ask you about one more irony, one more contradiction this case brings to the forefront. It is remarkable. Those on the left, many celebrated the fact that he murdered a CEO of a healthcare company, of an insurance company, of a giant corporation, and yet at the same time, they demand the American taxpayer continue to fund these insurance companies through the failed Obamacare. They celebrate the murder of one of the heads of these companies, then demand billions of dollars continue to fund these companies, Don. Hard for me to get my head around, but that's where we are in 2026. No
logic at all to leftist thinking. It's full of contradictions left and right, and this is yet another one. But they're not just celebrating the murder of the CEO, they're celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. It's what you were seeing from the left, celebrating the murder of people who they perceive to be against them, yet at the same time, as you point out, their Obamacare mandates and the whole system is designed to make these companies richer and richer and richer. There's no logic to it at all. It's all full of illogical contradictions from the left, as we've seen for the last 3 decades, unfortunately, if not longer than that.
Don Brown, you're running for that soon-to-be open Senate seat in North Carolina. Tell the folks where they can find you if they like what they're hearing.
Thank you very much. Please go to brown4nc.com. That's Brown, like my last name, Charlie Brown, for the word FORNC.com. Shoot us an email, send a contribution over. We could use the money in the last 3 or 4 weeks before we get to Election Day for primary day and correspond with us. We'll write you back. We need volunteers on the ground. We appreciate everybody out there and love you all.
All right, Don Brown. You need an opinion next time you come back. Would you work on that? Appreciate seeing you on Friday,
I'm going to work on it, Steve. I'm going to work on it. Hey, have a happy weekend, brother. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, don't be so shy next time. There you go, Don Brown. All right, coming up after the break, I'll discuss the FBI raid in Fulton County, Georgia, regarding the 2020 presidential election. It's something we've all known for years, it seems, but now, have they got the proof? Sure seems like it. We'll discuss that coming up.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. Backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a Real Voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
It's Mama Love in northern Minnesota. You know, a collective voice is much louder than a single voice. Thanks, Rav, for giving us a place to chat and connect. See y'all in chat.
Millions of Americans have questioned the results of the 2020 election. Many, of course, believe fraud was involved. Joe Biden getting 81 million votes. Remarkable, almost mathematically impossible. The FBI raid now this week in Fulton County, Georgia, appears they have found proof that has been hidden for years. Here's an example of what we're looking at.
You can see Republican is written there, Republicans written there. This is ballot 61. This is ballot number 2, and then each one of them even has this little dot in the Fannie Willis.
Okay, and do you have more of those?
We have the entire batch. There's 62 images in here total, and I didn't even get a chance to go through all of them, but these are the most obvious ones where it's clear that it's the same. This one's got the little tail on the side.
And so what happened? So do you know the numbers of these total?
What's being demonstrated there are duplicate ballots. Oh, look, the mark here with this little tail on it is identical to the mark on this ballot over here. Remarkable. And there was page after page after page, tens of thousands of them. Join me to discuss is congressional candidate for Georgia 14, Reagan Box. Reagan, good to have you here on the program. Look, there's been a lot of attention on Georgia, Fulton County, and now the raid by the FBI. They took out all those boxes of ballots. They're going to examine them. What is your belief about what happened in Georgia in 2020?
I believe it was stolen 100%. There is no way with Trump support in Georgia it went to Biden.
So here's the other problem with that. It wasn't just an election that favored Joe Biden. It was an election that favored John Ossoff to pick up a Senate seat. And so John Ossoff has occupied a Senate seat. Is that a legitimate outcome?
No, it's all illegitimate. And we can take it back. You know, if we can prove that this election was stolen, then we should be able to get Ketanji Brown Jackson off of the Supreme Court. This is going to have major effects on our government.
Well, here's the problem, Reagan. I look at the Constitution all the time. I keep a copy right here for reference. There's no remedy. I see no constitutional remedy for the founding fathers didn't foresee the Democrat machines in places like Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit, Atlanta, didn't see that as a possibility. There's no remedy that I see here. I don't know what you do at this point, this many years on. How would you remedy this if it's proven by the FBI that there are something like 300,000 invalid votes that were counted?
So actually, I was discussing this with a lawyer friend of mine just the other day, and he found a very obscure case that actually happened in Savannah in like 1720. And the election was found out to be fraudulent. And when they found out who did the fraud, they actually told them, you can either go to prison for 20 years or you have to renounce your citizenship and you will be deported from America.
So that's an interesting outcome. You've been watching this, Georgia 14. When's that election coming up, by the way?
The early voting starts February 16th and voting day is March 10th.
All right. So a herd of candidates in that race. Is this going to be an issue in Georgia 14? Are people going to vote on this, or what are the things that they're looking at in Georgia in that 14th congressional district? That was MTG's district until she stepped down, correct?
Yes, sir. I think the biggest problem is going to get voters to turn out. A lot of voters are complacent because of the fraud in Georgia. They feel like their vote doesn't matter. It's going to be changed. And they don't feel like they're truly being represented by who they put on the ballot.
So is it a primary that's coming up, or is this the whole deal? I don't know. Is this for all the marbles?
Oh, no, this is crazy the way they're doing it. So I have to qualify for the next election in May before the March 10th date.
Okay, so that's quite a complex event. Reagan Box, how do people find you for more information?
ReaganBoxForCongress.com.
Appreciate you being here. We're going to keep a close eye on this case out of Fulton County, of course, as we have for years. But now with the FBI looking at everything, I think that we might get some answers that we've been waiting for. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, so coming up after the break, I'm going to bring on an expert who was at the White House earlier this week for the proclamation of National School Choice Week. Details on what President Trump is doing to honor school choice and what it means for students. Coming up next.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today. Now is the moment to put your brand in front of an engaged, loyal audience through Real America's Voice. When you advertise on Real America's Voice, you're not just running an ad, you're partnering with trusted voices like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and other influential hosts. backed by millions of monthly listeners.
What's happening? Because of a real voice, man. I watch it all the time.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Real America's Voice gives sponsors the chance to put their product front and center, displayed on screen and highlighted by our anchors during exclusive segments and live events.
Head to freetrumpknife.com.
This means your brand becomes part of the conversation as it happens.
Secure your spot before it's too late.
Join us today and make your brand part of the news conversation that America's viewers trust. Real America's Voice, where your message is seen, heard, and remembered.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
It's Mama Love in northern Minnesota. You know, a collective voice is much louder than a single voice. Thanks, Rav, for giving us a place to chat and connect. See y'all in chat.
All right, this week is National School Choice Week, and the momentum is unstoppable, it seems. With the Working Families Tax Cuts Act delivering real results, 23 states have already adopted to opt in to the new Education Freedom Tax Credit, putting parents first. What an idea, right? Putting parents first. Here to share insights from this week's White House Roundtable on School Choice, Senior Research Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Jonathan Butcher. Jonathan, nice to have you back on the program. The money following the student, man, this has been a fight, mostly not with parents, not even with school districts. It's the unions that hate this the most, from what I can tell. Your thoughts?
Well, yes, teacher unions reliably will file lawsuits anytime a new school choice program is adopted in the states. And it's happened everywhere. It's happened in Arizona, Florida, Ohio. But fortunately, courts have recognized that it is not a violation of the U.S. Constitution or state constitutions in most cases for students to be able to choose how and where they learn. In fact, just in the last 2 weeks, we learned that in Arizona, now 100,000 children are using education savings accounts in that state. In Florida, the number is now over 500,000 children using savings accounts in that state. There are 17 states across the U.S. where every child in the borders of those states can apply for an account or an account-like option to even customize their education or just choose a new private school. So it's a very exciting time, really all around the country.
You know, not far from where I am in Detroit, I know that the private schools, the charter schools, outperform all the public schools. It's an opportunity for parents to get their kids into a school where their kid can learn something and be accomplished. We learned on this program yesterday that college professors all over this country now are finding kids that show up in college that cannot read properly. They're doing basically the teacher reading stories to the classes. These are college classes, not kindergarten. Our public schools are failing us. So this is an opportunity. This is a parachute, a safety valve for parents, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. And we have to remember that some of the interest groups that say that they're preparing children to go off to college, like the College Board, they've actually lowered their standards. On the SAT, for example, the reading comprehension questions on what has been for many years a commonly used test for college applicants, those reading comprehension questions, they're just a couple of sentences now. They're not even a paragraph. They're not even a page. So fortunately, when it comes to school choice, as we see more classical schools open, either in the form of public charter schools or private schools, they can prepare students to take what is known as the classical learning test. And on that test, students are actually asked to read classical works of literature and excerpts from what we would consider great books, and then answer comprehension questions. So it's when we raise the bar like this and we actually challenge students that we can really see what a difference school choice makes.
Yeah, now here's one of the concerns that has been raised by some folks out there, and I think there might be some legitimacy to it, Jonathan, and that is some of these private schools, I'll take Muslim schools specifically, that are teaching their students Sharia law and to hate America. So with the good, you could also have some downside. True or false?
I mean, I think it's incredibly rare. I think what is more commonly found are charter schools that are founded by either parents or community leaders who are legitimately interested in either increasing the expectations for students in their area, or private schools that are looking to meet the needs and the interests of parents in their area. We find a lot of micro schools being created today, especially coming out of the pandemic. And as they sound, these are smaller private schools that use a curriculum provided by a central office that is a private school provider. And these are responding to the interests of parents. And in surveys that I have run myself, I have seen that parents want civics taught more in schools. They want responsibility and virtue talked about in schools. They want young people taught that they should finish high school, get a job or enter college, get married before you have children. These are all from survey questions that show at half or more. I mean, we're talking 60-70% of the respondents to these questions want students to have more opportunity to learn civics, more opportunity to be taught about virtue and character.
You know, one of the institutions that backs these schools is Hillsdale College. I know you're familiar with Hillsdale College from Michigan. They have what are called Barney schools. And the point of that is they deliver what is called a classical education. They talk about American history. They talk about math and science and civics, as you mentioned. How important is it to get back to classical education? And I don't just mean in charter schools. I mean in this country in general.
It's absolutely essential. And remember, this is what we used to call education. When you look at what they used to use for civics textbooks, say 100 years ago, they were talking about things like courage and charity and politeness. They were talking about being involved in your community, how to actually be a civic participation in society. And so by returning to these ideals, we are creating, again, a shared sense of national identity. And I think that charter schools and private schools that are using classical curriculum, again, the kind of curriculum that we saw a long time ago, is a great step in the right direction. It also responds to parent fears about too much use of either cell phones or AI or social media in schools. And that's a real concern that parents have. And so by moving to a classical curriculum, you're doing away with a lot of these screen-based instructional strategies, and you're going back to real textbooks and real authentic reading assignments of the kinds of things that we would have expected from students years ago, right? Reading things from the Western canon, Shakespeare, even some of the foundational texts like the Federalist Papers from America's history. So these are the kinds of things that classical schools are moving back into K-12 education. And it's a very encouraging sign that more of these schools are opening.
And I think that the other point of that, Jonathan, is you're getting away from screen time to actual human interaction with a teacher and a student and nurturing and all of these things, teaching boundaries and proper behavior, all of those things. It's really important. Jonathan, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, really appreciate it. Coming up after the break, I'll bring on a meteorologist from Weather Nation. Another big winter storm headed east. Good luck, kids. I think the snow shovels might be sold out. I'm rooting for you, though. We'll be right back.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now. Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some Rav fans out here.
We watch you every day.
From mugs that start your morning strong to hoodies, hats, t-shirts, pants, vests, flags, and so much more.
Yeah, I noticed it. I mean, that caught my eye big time.
Every piece lets you wear your pride loud and clear. This isn't just merch, it's a movement. When you shop Rav, you're showing the world you're proud to be part of the Real America's Voice family.
God bless Real America's Voice.
So don't wait. Scan the QR code right now or visit realamericasvoice.launchcart.store to shop today.
Thank you, Real America's Voice, for doing true journalism.
Stand tall, be bold, be proud. Represent your voice with Real America's Voice.
It's good to have a real news network out there, so I'm a big fan.
Use code RAVSWAG10 for 10% off.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chaffin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that Rav News is the best news. Number one news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
You know, for those of us on this side of the river, it's been a snowy, cold winter. For those on the west side of the river, it's been dry and warm. But boy, for the folks on the East Coast, another big storm heading their way, a nor'easter developing off the East Coast could rapidly intensify into a bomb cyclone. I like saying that because it sounds sexy. Bomb cyclone. Heavy snow, high winds from the Carolinas into parts of New England. Weather Nation meteorologist Jesse Kelly joined me now to give the details. Jesse, nice to see you. Give us the details, my friend. Take it away.
Well, Steve, we are looking at the potential for more snow. A lot of snow will be happening with this event across the Carolinas, and you're all right. We're expecting to see maybe the storm to bomb out. Basically, we're going to see a low pressure drop. So basically, we could see pressure drop 24 to 30 millibars within 24 hours. Could be seeing some strong winds up across the Northeast. We're going to get to those details in a couple minutes. Let's begin, though, with the forecast across the Carolinas. So we are looking at winter alerts across the Carolinas where we could see quite a bit of snow this weekend. And as a result, we're looking at some major impacts. So just like we did with the last event here across the South, if you don't need to travel, just stay at home. As the forecast shows, we could see a few inches of snow, and we could see some heavy snow as this low really intensifies just off the coast of the Carolinas and then work its way up the eastern seaboard to bring us some snow into portions of southeastern Massachusetts. So especially across the I-40 corridor, anywhere from Knoxville over towards areas around New Bern across the Outer Banks, we could see in some locations pick up over 6+ inches of snow. This is just one model. This is our look at our Weather Nation model, also the Barron model. There's a look at another model, the national blend of models, also showing the same story as well, as we could see some locations, especially between Columbia, Charlotte, over towards the Outer Banks, we could see snowfall amounts potentially over 6 inches. So for tonight, we'll see rain initially across the areas of Georgia, North and South Carolina. Here's the colder air supporting that snow in the southwestern Virginia and the southeastern Kentucky. So as that colder air meets up with this moisture, we're going to see that transition over from the rain to the snow. And some of this snow could be heavy at times as we go into your Saturday morning to the afternoon. And with the low getting stronger, also expect to see some strong winds coming out of the north. We could see wind gusts here, maybe approaching 30 to 40+ miles an hour as this low races off towards the northeast. The good news that we will see things ending pretty quickly as we go into your Sunday afternoon. But keep in mind, though, folks, here, it's going to remain very cold across portions of the southeast as we're looking at feels like temperatures this weekend in the single digits, and that's why we're looking at cold weather alerts across portions of the south. Now, for New England, we're going to see more wind than precipitation just because it's low. While it's going to be affecting us here across the East Coast, it just won't be close enough to bring us significant snow like we're going to see across the Carolinas. Obviously, we have all that colder air coming in on the backside of this low. So there's the low here, starting off at around 1,000 millibars, but dropping 30 millibars in less than 24 hours. And that's why that storm is going to bomb on out, or as Steve mentioned, it's going to be a bomb cyclone. So what exactly is a bombogenesis? Basically a mid-level cyclone that rapidly intensifies at least 24 millibars within 24 hours. This typically occurs with winter storms. We do have a winter storm watch out for areas south of Boston, including Martha's Vineyard, over towards Nantucket, where our forecast still shows we could see 2 to 4 inches of snow. But this is all dependent on the exact track of this low. So we're going to see more of those impacts across southeastern Massachusetts. Other models do show maybe a light dusting, maybe as far west as the I-95 corridor, but I think we're going to see more of the impact still being felt across southeastern Massachusetts. Here's the forecast here across Boston. We'll see some snow. We'll see some wind. We will see cold temperatures too. We'll see those temperatures out there in the teens, with winds also breezy at times out of the north between 30 and 40 miles an hour. My last point I want to bring to everyone is about the cold, especially down to the south. Unfortunately, we're still seeing several areas of the south still dealing with widespread power outages, especially across northeastern Louisiana, Mississippi, also over towards Tennessee around the Nashville metro. And we have more cold air in the forecast. We're looking at extreme cold warnings across a good chunk of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, even over towards the Carolinas, even down towards Florida too, as we could see feels like temperatures this weekend below zero. So if you still do not have power, make sure you're finding warming centers, go to a relative house, a friend house, make sure you have adequate ways of staying warm, because it's going to be very cold across the south this weekend. We're going to see lows in Atlanta around 14. It's going to feel more like the single digits this weekend as all that cold air slides down to the south. Wow. We will see things starting to moderate a little bit as we go into the first part of next week. Steve, back over to you.
Jesse, well done. It looks like there's going to be a cold, snowy winter for the folks on the East Coast. Man, guys, just stay inside. We've seen you drive in these conditions. Please don't. Just please don't. Jesse, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll have to come out there and give them driving lessons in snow, because, you know, they get a little bit of snow, they just lose their minds. Stay in, find something to do in the house, and enjoy the time. Time for a commercial break, but I want to inform you that Real America's Music has a new release out called The Somali Waltz, sung by Natasha Owens. Here's a sneak preview.
Minnesota's headlines are getting wild. Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar are being accused of massive fraud, and it's so bad, all you can do is laugh at this point. So from Real America's Music, the label that brought you the #1 hit, Anthem of the Free, comes a brand new song from singer-songwriter Natasha Owens, The Somali Waltz. Let's make the music industry mad and run this to #1. Scan the QR code or search The Somali Waltz on iTunes and buy it right now. The Somali Waltz, available everywhere.
The Somali Waltz, and coming soon to a state near you. New name same tune. The Somali Waltz.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now. Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some Rav fans out here.
We watch you every day.
From mugs that start your morning strong to hoodies, hats, t-shirts, pants, vests, flags, and so much more.
Yeah, I noticed it. I mean, that caught my eye big time.
Every piece lets you wear your pride loud and clear. This isn't just merch, it's a movement. When you shop Rav, you're showing the world you're proud to be part of the Real America's Voice family.
God bless Real America's Voice.
So don't wait. Scan the QR code right now or visit realamericasvoice.launchcart.store to shop today.
Thank you, Real America's Voice, for doing true journalism.
Stand tall, be bold, be proud. Represent your voice with Real America's Voice.
It's good to have a real news network out there, so I'm a big fan.
Use code RAVSWAG10 for 10% off.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chaffin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that Rav News is the best news. #1 news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
Well, as you've been hearing, the House is on recess, and that means the possibility of a partial government shutdown is coming because the Senate can't seem to get on the same page. This time, the argument revolves around funding for the Department of Homeland Security. And while the funding is in place for 2 weeks, the House will hear arguments as it relates to further reform for the department, specifically ICE, of course. While other government agencies are funded until the 30th of September, the House of Representatives will be the final decision maker when it comes to further appropriations. Joining me to discuss, the Director of Border Security and Immigration at the Heritage Foundation, Laura Reese. Laura, nice to have you here. It is confusing to me. I saw a Rasmussen poll that said 75% of the Hispanic people asked support the ICE actions, but overall, this is not polling well for Republicans, and that's why they've blinked, I guess, in part. I talked to 2 members of Congress yesterday, friends of mine that are Republicans, and they said their internal polling shows it's not polling well. So I don't think that we should just say, oh, we're going to let the people that are here, these criminals, just be on their way and they can just continue to hide in the communities. But they need to find a political solution here and a financial one as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is no time to go wobbly. I mean, let's not forget the past 4 years under Joe Biden when he had open borders and subjected us to millions of unvetted illegal aliens, including public safety threats, national security threats, and economic security threats. So it's important that the administration hold firm and Republicans in Congress as well. Americans voted for mass deportations in 2024, and that's what we need. We need to get back to law and order. Otherwise, immigration law doesn't mean anything.
Well, here's the problem. You've got people in certain sections of political community that want to pick and choose what laws they follow. Now, I don't understand this, honestly. I've seen agents trying to arrest rapists, child sodomizers, murderers, and they're being stopped. I mean, nobody wants these people in their neighborhood. And here's the other part. Governor Walz came out and said, well, we're cooperating and we're giving these people over to the federal agents. It's not true. All they're releasing are the people that are in prisons in Minnesota. They're not releasing the people in local jails. So it's not honest, the answers he's giving. It's blatantly dishonest, which is why he says he'll never run for public office again. Fact of the matter is, at this point, I don't think Tim Walz could be elected dog catcher in Minnesota because of these failures. And let's not forget the massive fraud. This is a big distraction from that massive amount of fraud in Minnesota, too, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's why there are federal agents all over Minnesota because of all types of fraud, whether that's welfare fraud, immigration fraud, possibly election fraud. This state is swimming in it. And we're not hearing about any issues with ICE currently elsewhere in the country. It's because the left is trying to distract from the fraud in Minnesota, and the left has directed their rent-a riots to Minneapolis to commit crimes by interfering with federal agents carrying out federal law.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. We've all heard the numbers. We know the statistics. Barack Obama deported something on the order of 5 million people while he's in office. They called him deporter-in-chief. During the Biden administration, somewhere over 6,000 illegals were captured by ICE and CBP in Minnesota and deported. There were no riots. Nobody was getting killed. And look, I live in Michigan. We have a Democrat governor. We don't have that problem here. There's a certain level of cooperation. Look, if you end up in jail, you got to go. And here's the other thing. Why would the people of Minnesota be okay with the ones that are in prison? Why would you pay the bills to house, feed, take care of medical care for people that have committed crimes, some of them heinous crimes. Why would the taxpayer be on the hook for that when you can send them on an airplane back to where they came from?
Right. And the Trump administration has already given a very generous offer of a free ticket home and at least $1,000 when you get there. That is the moderate position. And a whole lot more people need to be taking them up on that. But the fact is, they're not going to choose to self-deport if they don't see a real threat of an ICE deportation in their future, which is why the Trump administration should not be limiting deportations to the worst of the worst, but to all deportable aliens. That's what Americans voted for, and that's what we need. We have ignored these quote-unquote small immigration violations for decades, whether that was sneaking across the border, overstaying your visa, working without authorization, or committing document or identity fraud to stay here. That's what got us anywhere from 11 to over 20 million illegal aliens before Joe Biden took office. Americans are fed up, and they want their tax dollars to go to Americans and to those who come here lawfully.
Now, here's the real question. Can you really deport 20 million people, or is there going to be an accommodation found somewhere in the middle, Laura? And what I mean by that, is it going to be found that some people that have been here for whatever number of years and have committed no further crime, have a family, have a job, whatever it may be, will there be an accommodation found in some fashion? Politically speaking, it seems to me we might be at that point in the conversation because the polling, like I said, is not good right now. Last word to you.
Well, the more that ICE deports, the more self-deportations will increase. It is a legitimate and valuable tool. But why should someone who violated the law longer get a break? I mean, that's an aggravating factor, not a mitigating one. We can, as a country, be very choosy about who we select come here. We have dozens of ways to come lawfully. And so we shouldn't just be bending over to people who broke our laws and then demand we give them exactly what they wanted, which is a green card. We should be rewarding those who come here lawfully and encourage more of that.
We should encourage more common sense, but it is in short supply. Laura, thank you for being here as always.
Thank you.
Now, we're only a few weeks into winter and already brutal cold, huge snowstorms, as we just talked about, of course, power outages and other problems. Think about this. If the power goes out when it's really cold, do you have a way to keep yourself and your family warm? It's a real problem. Winter power outages can even be life-threatening, like in Texas back in 2021. That's why so many Americans are getting a Vesta off-grid heater from My Patriot Supply. It's a space heater that doesn't use electricity or propane. It runs on something called canned heat, which is an indoor safe fuel. With the Vesta stashed in your closet, you know you can keep warm no matter what. It even doubles as a stove to cook your food, which is pretty cool, actually. The best part? Right now, you can get the Vesta and a bunch more preparedness gear as free gifts when you order the Winter Survival Kit from My Patriot Supply. Just go to mypatriotsupply.com/RAV to see everything included. This offer won't last long, so go to mypatriotsupply.com/RAV today. That's mypatriotsupply.com/RAV. After the break, we'll have a story that reminds us of just how wonderful America is, plus the answers to our America's Voice question of the day. Do you think Don Lemon will actually be held accountable for storming into a church in Minnesota? Your answers when we come back.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now. Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some Rav fans out here.
We watch you every day.
From mugs that start your morning strong to hoodies, hats, t-shirts, pants, vests, flags, and so much more.
Yeah, I noticed it. I mean, that caught my eye big time.
Every piece lets you wear your pride loud and clear. This isn't just merch, it's a movement. When you shop Rav, you're showing the world you're proud to be part of the Real America's Voice family.
God bless Real America's Voice.
So don't wait. Scan the QR code right now or visit realamericasvoice.launchcart.store to shop today.
Thank you, Real America's Voice, for doing true journalism.
Stand tall, be bold, be proud. Represent your voice with Real America's Voice.
It's good to have a real news network out there, so I'm a big fan.
Use code RAVSWAG10 for 10% off.
Real America's Voice rocks.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chaffin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that Rav News is the best news. Number one news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
What makes America wonderful? We do it every day with the hope of putting a smile on your face before you go on with your weekend. Now, today's story comes from all of you watching at home. In the emails you send to me, it's important, more important than ever, in fact, to ensure that every single voice in America is heard. So I tell you to send me emails every now and then. We're going to go to them here on the program. Karen Bailey writes this. It makes me cry when these idiots compare conservatives and or what is going on to Nazis. My mother was Czech. She was sponsored from Germany and became a citizen. She lived her preteen and teenage years during the heights of World War II. The thing she described is not even close to what we're living with now. Makes me sick. They are so inconsiderate to compare anything to the atrocity that took place under Hitler and the Third Reich. I thank you for standing strong, never wavering, and speaking what needs to be heard. Please keep telling people. Stop speaking of things you know nothing of. God bless. Karen, thank you very much. Sandy Chase writes this. I watch your show on Rav twice daily, and you say that you read your emails. Well, answer this one so I know that you really care. Well, here it is. It's the biggest tax cut in history for working class families. Okay, what about the folks that worked all our lives, paying taxes, living lawful, decent lives despite bureaucratic BS that robbed us of our savings and our financial peace of mind? Bidenomics, inflation aside, the many factors affecting seniors and veterans, financial stability goes for the past 4 Biden years when we were oppressed and taxed beyond reason. Many lost homes, businesses, and income through no fault of our own, despite doing things the right way all of our lives. If you really want to help seniors and veterans, change the formula for COLA to reflect the real economy, closer to 6 or 7%. Make Medicare and VA benefits fully paid by the government. Medicaid recipients pay zero for the benefit and had paid nothing in. And eliminate all property taxes for seniors when they reach full retirement age with or without a mortgage. Feel free to respond to my email. I value your opinion on this matter and pray that you might have an influence on Capitol Hill because I'm a million miles away from there. And even though my vote counts, my voice is unheard. Well, your voice is not unheard here. Thanks, Stephen Ivey, she said. Respectfully, Sandy, proud Christian American, North Carolina. We do care, Sandy. That's why we do this every day. For all of you here, thank you for joining us for another great week here on Real America's Voice. We'll do it again starting Monday morning, 6 a.m. I kick off the broadcast day for Real America's Voice for the Steve Gruber Show. Have a safe and happy weekend. Until next time.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead, scan the QR code now. Patriots, it's time to gear up. Real America's Voice has an entire lineup of merch made just for you.
We got some Rav fans out here.
We watch you every day.
From mugs that start your morning strong to hoodies, hats, t-shirts, pants, vests, flags, and so much more.
Yeah, I noticed it. I mean, that caught my eye big time.
Every piece lets you wear your pride loud and clear. This isn't just merch, it's a movement. When you shop Rav, you're showing the world you're proud to be part of the. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that's